Screen printing with a laser. So this is a new tool. It is a screen printer that works to make screens for screen printing using inks and whatnot with a laser. It saves so much time, right? Other than the traditional approach of making your screens and making your designs, you can just use a laser. This is made by xTool, who makes quite a few lasers, and it really is a seamless, nice machine. And so I have zero experience with screen printing, and so I was up and running, made a bunch of shirts, made some prints, really easy. So this video is going to walk you through the machine, the unit, how to use it. If you're brand new to lasers, I'm going to show you just how easy lasers are to use. Don't be daunted by the fact that I'm in a wood shop. I am a woodworker, but this whole unit could be used inside the house. The lasers can absolutely be used inside the house with venting and purifiers, so don't feel like you need a bunch of tools. You just need a laser and the unit and some ink, you're good to go. So applications for hobbyists, super fun. Or small business, little side hustle, make some merch for your business. Lots here. Use those timestamps if you don't need the full tutorial on software or things like that. But check it out, the new xTool screen printer. All right, before we get too far into the tutorial and the tips, just want to show you the machine in use. It's a really well-designed machine. You're up and running in no time. There's really no assembly necessary. There's this platen with magnets. It just latches on. There's a sticky mat that's really useful for holding objects in place. Some different options there. And then the frame. The frame is assembled pretty easily, and it just latches in. Lots of hooks, but putting the frame together. All right, so assembling the frame, super easy. Gonna go a little bit slower here in real time. So you got your frame, and you wanna start with the side that has these recesses facing up, and then take your screen, got the cardboard on the bottom. You just wanna tuck that cardboard in, and just sets like so. Then you take these pieces, and then the kind of rounded pole, you kind of stick it in at an angle. Make sure that the tension is out perpendicular to it. And just kind of tuck it in. There we go. Sometimes you got to shove it in a little bit. All right, and then you flip it down pretty flat, and then you pull tension. Go here, making sure these are out perpendicular. Kind of shove them in, bend that over, pull it in, and this is just making the screen super tight. So when you run it in the laser, you have, the surface that you need. This back one doesn't have the tension rods because when you put it in the actual screen printer base itself, you're good. So anyway, you got nice and tight. Now on the bottom, there's these little flaps to pull that cardboard off. All right, so a little adhesive. And so what you're gonna do when you put it in your laser is you are gonna have this bluer side facing up, and that's what's gonna get lasered. And then eventually when you put it in the laser, your ink will go here, but you can hear it, it's nice and tight, it's all set. So this is a really slick setup. So now you're ready to put it in the laser. As far as which laser to use, really any laser is going to work for you. Obviously this product is made by xTool, so I have xTool lasers to use. The one that I'd really recommend if you're just starting, don't have a laser, is to get the xTool S1. You could certainly use the D1, a lot more affordable, but I have a video that kind of talks through the different types of lasers and their limitations and what they're best suited for. My favorite obviously is the P2. But if you're planning to just get started, using a screen printer for here, there's some options down below. So the D1 is kind of an introductory model. A little bit more is the S1. Lots more features. You got a lid. You got lots of really cool features. I got several videos on what the S1 can do. If you're wanting to get into some more acrylic and do some really crazy stuff and you want the power of cutting, the P2 is your friend. But go ahead and you can check the links down below, watch videos on the different lasers. But here I'm going to show you how to run it on the S1. All right, so both the D1 and the S1, they have these little pieces, right? And so they actually do come with screws. I got one of the early ones, so I don't have the screws in here, but it's fine for my purposes. But this is great for when you want to do multiple colors. So I can just put this in and then I'm going to slide it right in there. And so even though this isn't screwed in right here, later I could screw it in if I want to do multiple screens and do multiple colors. Then I put it back, and then it just references it right here. So if you get the kit and it comes with a metal piece like this or a bigger one for the D1, that's what that is for. And it's just to reference where you're going. So anyway, again, blue side up, that's important. And so it's also, you don't have to worry about it getting damaged down below. As always with lasers, make sure everything else is clean, and we're good to go. So showing how to use it on the S1. All right, it's super easy to use. I have some other videos that kind of walk through the software, but basically once you're up, you just want to move the laser head right to the middle, and you're going to go ahead and measure the distance. And so lots of great tutorials. And so this S1, great feature, automatically accounts for the height. And so I've set it off. So again, if you're brand new to lasers, it is super easy, crazy intuitive. Like I said, I have some other videos. And then here, I can go ahead, I'm gonna move it over just a little bit. All right, and then I'm locked in, and I'm gonna go ahead and mark my size. So I'm gonna hit start marking. There is an update right now that looks a little different, but all you do is I'm gonna do a rectangle. So I push the button once, it's measuring this corner, and then I just manually move it up here and push again. And now it's giving me a rectangle. All right, switching over to this mode, a little easier to see. So earlier I hit this button just to measure the distance, and then I click Start Marking. Like I mentioned in the video, there is an update, so it will look a little different, but the big idea is you're just measuring those corners. So once I've measured the corners, I get this big rectangle, and that shows me my working area. Here I already have an image, so I'm gonna show you how you can start from the ground up with an image. It works with anything, right? So you can have a JPEG, PNG, so just have this image right here. What I like to do is I like to convert it to a SVG file. And so within the software, this is free software, super easy to use. Click Trace Image, and you can mess around with it to get more detail and change it around, but I'm happy with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit Save, and now it is an SVG file. I can delete this one, and I'll just show you engrave. That's what it's gonna look like, so that's pretty fantastic. Now for the engraving, this side over here down at the bottom, this is going to be like the bottom area. So if I was going to say do a t-shirt, I want it up towards the top kind of middle. And so let's say maybe I'm going to do a larger image, you know, like so big. However, I do need to flip this image. So I'm going to click on the image, and I'm going to click Reflect Vertically. And so now it's going to invert the image, it's going to flip it, so when I push the ink through, it gets right where I need it to be. You definitely want to test this out on like cardboard or paper before a t-shirt, or some old t-shirts is great too. But I've got it, and I'm good to go. And at this point, I could go ahead and engrave. I could add in, you know, whatever material. You can go on here and add the screen as an option. So coated screen, the mesh. Oh, I got it. And so it's going to give you some preset settings here, like 40 and 253. However, I highly recommend you do a test file first. So before doing a big design on a big screen, you want to do a test image. And so you can use your own image like that. I like to just go ahead and come here, go to the shape, and I'm going to pick just a lion. Got a little lion here. I'm going to hit engrave. And if you don't need this step, you can use the timestamps to skip ahead. But if you're new to lasers, super easy. This is just gonna maximize your efficiency. And you wanna click Material Test Array. So every machine's a little different. And so I'm gonna go ahead, you know, you can mess around with the settings here, but basically what it's gonna do is it automatically adjusts each of these images. So if I click on, I'll go ahead and ungroup it so you can see it. If I click on this image, it automatically went 100 power, 10 speed. 100 power, 10 speed. I'll go up here. 33 power, 453 speed, and there you have it. And so on my machine, I ended up, this was my favorite result. Was right around, you know, right around here was my best results. But you want to run this first, maybe a smaller, you know, in the bottom corner. Like you can run it down over here, so maybe you can maximize a screen and use a couple, but you definitely want to do a test run first before doing a big object. So let's go ahead and see this image right here, this PNW. Let's go ahead and throw some ink on the frame. But first, let's see the laser in action. So if you're new to lasers, lasers are so much fun, right? So much great applications with these. I do recommend going with the S1 or the P2 just because the lid is so great. You can run these inside your home, lots of extra features. But again, you can use the other ones, watch those videos. It makes quick work of it and really great results, saves a lot of time from the traditional method of making the screens for screen printing. It can take a lot longer, obviously, if you're removing a lot more material. But play around with those test settings, and this is what you want to kind of see. Here's that little lion test setting that we did earlier, where, you know, some of the, you know, power and speed, it didn't remove enough material, sometimes too much. But you definitely want to do a test run first and throw some ink in there and just see what gives you the best results for your project. And so once you've done your test run, you're good to go, like so. All right, so this screen right here, I had a little test image over here, and I actually had a little accident. I gouged it here. So I'm just using some painter's tape to mark it off so I don't have anything going through. One thing for this little test run, I will say, the machine comes with a sticky mat, and the sticky mat is fantastic. It works really well. Unfortunately, I went a little too crazy with the heat gun, curing it, so it warped it a little bit. So as long as you're just using like a blow dry or a heat gun, this will still work great. But because it's kind of a little warped, I went ahead and did some research to learn a little bit more about screen printing. And I'm using a tacky substance, so it's just on this wood itself. This is, let me pull off the magnets. This is a platen. It already comes with these magnets to adjust. You know, you could make your own if you want. But traditional screen printing, you have a platen, and then they apply an adhesive, and then they let it cure. So that's what I did here. So after it's air dried, or, you know, use a heat gun, or you can use a flash dryer, it's good to go, and it's tacky. And it's tacky, and that's going to hold the shirt in place so it doesn't move around too much. But again, the kit comes with this. You don't need to mess with all that. But if you made the mistake of going a little too happy with a heat gun, that's a great option. So note for the future. So if you go this method, it's just super simple. Just about a quarter size of the material. Use a little squeegee, little spreader, spread it around, and then you just dry it and you're good to go. All right, so I went a little overboard here, and instead of just a heat gun, I went ahead and I got myself a flash dryer. You don't need one of these, but I thought I'm gonna get really into the screen printing thing. So I got one of these. I linked it down below, but that just speeds up the process now. Super tacky, it's ready to go. This also helps for curing things without the heat gun. So if you're really getting into this screen printing thing, if you want to mess around with all kinds of stuff, maybe research a flash dryer. We'll talk more about that at the end, but sticky, ready to go. You don't need to do that step if you don't overboard on the heat gun. All right, continuing. Okay, so first thing you want to do when you're doing it, you want to do a test piece. And so I'm just going to use that cardboard from earlier. Inks, it comes with ink. I've already ran through it, so you know, just got some speedball. One thing that's really important, you want to make sure you stir it. Stir your ink. This is a water-based ink. Stirring. All right, so I got it. I can adjust the height here depending on what I got. So on this one, I'm going to give it just a little bit, about 1/8 of an inch off, because I'm going to be doing t-shirts in a bit. So, all right, let's make sure, see how it's stuck right there? Let's make sure I got my little test run right here. Okay, I got my distance I want. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and throw down the ink. I'm going to add a generous amount. And squeegee, magnet, super cool. All right, lots of different techniques. I've watched a lot of videos. I'm totally a noob, but a lot of folks, they flood it first. See, you can tell I'm a noob. This is also an awkward one, not the best example. All right, And then I'm going to go ahead and pull. Oh, that's clean. All right, that is awesome. So this test run worked out really well. This one's kind of awkward because, again, this was a test piece, so magnet right there. But wow, that turned out great. Okay, it's stuck in place. And there you have it. So at this point, you want to use a heat gun to cure it, or you can let it air dry, you know, a day or so should be good, or you can use that flash dryer. But I'm going to go ahead and start doing it on t-shirts. All right, so this is an awkward one because it's not centered, and I have these awkward ones. So this is not the best example, but I realized I needed to do a slower version of this for y'all to see. But I'm going to go ahead and pull my t-shirt. I'm going to pull it, and this is going to be an eyeball job because my thing is a little off. So I'm pulling back my t-shirt about, I don't know, 3 fingers or so, maybe a little bit more, maybe 4 fingers. All right, and what's nice about the screen printer is this didn't go vertical. It still started to slide a bit, but I can just lean it right up there. Okay, get everything as square as possible. Again, best case scenario after you're doing your test runs is that you, oh man, that tacky stuff works really well, that you center your design earlier. All right, so feel good about it, feel great about it. All right, I'm gonna add some more ink. And here we go. So I'm gonna flood it first. Here we go. Oh yeah, that's why. I was like, what's going on here? All right. And it's because my t-shirt was kind of jammed back in there. That's why. It's like, it's not going down all the way because I'm doing the final. All right, here we go. Oh, that's so sick. All right, looks great. So clean. That is just crazy impressive, all right? So it's that easy, even though I bumbled along the way, it's even easier than I showed. All right, at this point, if I'm gonna do a bunch more of this from the videos I've watched, this is a water base, so you want ink in there so it doesn't blah, blah, blah. You can watch other screen printing videos, it's definitely helpful. But at this point, you need to use a heat gun, or you can come in here, and I got myself a flash dryer. And I'm gonna check the temp. Just make sure everything's where it needs to be. And what's great about a flash dryer is this is just giving an even infrared heat. So there's ones that have coils. That's a great option. You can find those like, you know, 150 bucks on it. Again, you don't need this unit. You don't need this unit. I'm just extra, so I got it. Pretty affordable ones that are kind of like coils, but I went with this one. It's infrared after doing some research. A lot of reviews. It's a good introductory infrared flash dryer. And let's pull this away. And so you see all the steam? That's because this is water-based ink, so it's actually evaporating all the moisture in there. So there's a conveyor dryer, there's a forced air dryer. There's different kinds, depending on what kinds of inks you want to work with. But you can kind of test it. All right, and so it's dry. If I wanted to do 2 tones or 2 colors, I would have to do that in between, but pull it up. Oh, that's clean. And there you have it. So pretty clean. And again, if you have that flash dryer, it's cured. If you give it long enough, you can do that other ways, but you're good to go. I recommend doing a wash test just to make sure they work before you do big production. But there you have it, real time screen printing. All right, well here you can see it's just it's pretty easy and you can be pretty efficient. Obviously, this isn't a large production shop, but even with this just one unit with one at a time, you can produce quite a few shirts at a time, and you can really batch out quite a bit. So if you're thinking about scaling up, more than a hobby, maybe making some for money, side hustle, this is definitely a great unit to get started, and I think this is going to meet all of my needs. But you can just see the flow of how it goes, and it's pretty straightforward. Here I want to show doing white on a dark color. So one thing I'll note, don't do it like I did here. I just kept going darker and darker. What you'd want to do, or as far as more and more ink, what you really want to do when you're doing a white to get a bright white is just do like the 2 strokes, but then use the blow dryer or use a heat gun like this or the flash dryer, cure it, and then go back and do more coats. Don't just keep going layer, layer, layer. That's just gonna it's gonna be no bueno. So you can get really good results, a bright white on darker shirts, but definitely do a little bit, dry it, do a little bit, dry it. All right, here I have a unique one where I have multiple different, designs on the screen. And I could get a little bit in a corner, then I can mask it off. Then I can do a bigger design. And so you can maximize these screens if you're trying to save them. Here I went with the main design and then a small design on the back. And so if you want to do both sides of the shirt, you want to add some cardboard inside because I have to get back in that corner. That's just the nature of where my screen was, the orientation. But I was able to get a cool design on the back and a design on the front. So play around with it. So many possibilities, like mixing colors. Here I did, multiple colors, a little blue, a little green. You can certainly do dual colors. You can do all kinds of things. So really lots of possibilities. Just use your imagination, be creative. Stay tuned, some future videos. I'm going to show doing multiple colors on a shirt. Once I get some more screens, I can show how to get lots of layer effects, some other designs, messing around with some other inks, but some great results. And so this is a great machine. It's a great unit, very user-friendly. All right, so there you have it, the screen printer. If this video provided value for you, please consider subscribing to see more videos like this. I've made quite a lot of laser content this last year and more coming. Like I said earlier, I got a lot of different videos showing the different machines and the differences between them, which one might be the best fit for you, as well as a bunch of project ideas. So if you're brand new to lasers and you've made, use it to make your screens, well, what are some other things you can make with the lasers? Lots of ideas in those videos. If you're interested in buying, please consider using our affiliate link. You can use this QR code or check out down below. We do get a portion of that affiliate link. Portion of the sale comes to us. It supports the channel, helps us make more videos like this. xTool always has sales going, so I have a coupon code down below, and then there's other sales that you'll see from time to time. So anyway, pretty awesome. If you're curious in the other products I use, I'll leave links down below to the extra inks, the extra little things that I use, as well as the flash dryer or the t-shirts, where I got the t-shirts, all that kind of stuff. So thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.